I mentioned these feelings of mine to Haris, and he said he had them worse than that. He said he not only felt he wanted to kill the man who caused the board to be put up, but that he should like to slaughter the whole of his family and all his friends and relations, and then burn down his house. This seemed to me to be going too far, and I said so too, Haris, but he answered, not a big of it. Serve 'em all jolly well, and I would go and sing comic songs on the rooms. I was vexed to hear Haris go in this bloodthirsty strain. We never ought to allow our instincts of justice to degenerate into mere vindictiveness. It was a long while before I could get Haris to take a more Christian view of the subject. But I succeeded at last, and he promised me that he would spare all the friends and relations at all events, and would not sing comic songs on the rooms. You have never heard Haris sing a comic song, or you would understand the service I had rendered to mankind. It is one of Haris' fixed ideas that he can sing a comic song. The fixed idea, on the contrary, among those of Haris' friends who have heard him try, is that he can't and never will be able to, and that he ought not to be allowed to try. When Haris is at a party and is asked to sing, he replies, "Well, I can only sing a comic song, you know." And he says it in a tone that implies that his singing of that, however, is a thing that you ought to hear once and then die. "Oh, that is nice," says the hostess. "Do sing one, Mr. Haris." And Haris gets up and makes for the piano with the beaming cheeriness of a generous-minded man who is just about to give somebody something. "Now silence, please, everybody," says the hostess, turning round. "Mr. Haris is going to sing a comic song." "Oh, how jolly," they murmur. And they hurry in from the conservatory and come up from the stairs and go and fetch each other from all over the house and crowd into the drawing room and serve round, all smirking in anticipation. Then Haris begins. "Well, you don't look for much of a voice in a comic song. You don't expect correct phrasing or vocalization. You don't mind if a man does find out when in the middle of a note that he is too high and comes down with a jerk. You don't bother about time. You don't mind a man being 2 bars in front of the accompaniment and easing up in the middle of a line to argue it out with the pianist, and then starting the verse afresh. But you do expect the words. You don't expect a man to never remember more than the first 3 lines of the first verse, and to keep on repeating these lines until it is time to begin the chorus. You don't expect a man to break off in the middle of a line and snigger and say, "It's very funny." But he's blessed if he can think of the rest of it and then try and make it up for himself, and afterwards suddenly recollected, when he has got to an entirely different part of the song, and break off without a word of warning, to go back and let you have it then and there. You don't. Well,